No fewer than 8 security agents comprising soldiers, policemen, and Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps have been killed by gunmen in Imo State. The incident, which happened on Tuesday morning in Umualumaku community, a non-local government area of the state, has thrown the area into panic. The Joint Security Task Force team, who were in 2 security trucks, were ambushed and set ablaze by their attackers. None of them survived as they were burned inside their operational vehicles. A security operative who doesn't want to be mentioned said that reinforcement teams had been sent to the scene of the crime with the intent to arrest the suspects and rescue the capsies of the slain security operative. Now, still with us virtually is Nelson Ekujimi, and of course right here in the studio, Cyril Abaku. Nelson, I'm going to start off with you. Can you provide us with an overview of the incident? What is your general take of that gory situation?
Well, it's one of sadness. It's one of pain that men who have committed themselves to saving the lives of Nigerians, to protect life and property, to ensure the maintenance of law and order, have to meet their deaths untimely and in a gruesome manner of this kind. My condolences to the Chief of Army Staff, to the Inspector General of Police, as well as the families of the dead, soldiers and policemen. It's something, that should make all of us sad. It's something that, should call for introspection. So for me, it's a sad news. I'm devastated that, this security personnel don't deserve, to meet their death untimely because, they were in the course of their lawful duty in that jurisdiction, which is within their, within their functions. So for me, it's a sad one. It's something that, that even since yesterday when the news broke, one has been troubled internally. I can only, pray that God will grant them eternal rest while urging the security agencies not to be deterred by this criminality, by this barbarism.
All right,
By
Nelson,
by
in the southeast, specifically Imo, Enugu, sometimes Anambra, we've been hearing of the activities of these supposed unknown gunmen. Now, a lot of mayhem have been caused by these individuals. And IPOB has come out to say through its spokesperson, Emma Powerful, that they are not the ones, perpetrating this mayhem. Nnamdi Kanu has written from the DSS custody telling Simon Ekpa, wherever it is he is, and those who are following his orders to stop, that he cannot be part of an insurgence that, destabilizes the economy of the Southeast and doesn't make investors coming around, turn their youth into criminals in broad daylight, and generally just make the Southeast chaotic. And one would have thought that that would have quelled, the problem in the Southeast concerning this brazenness of these individuals. But with the occurrence that transpired yesterday, please, what would you think the Nigerian army should do as soon as possible to flush out these elements who have decided to make that region more chaotic than peaceful?
Yes, you must recognize that denial by what do you call his name again? Nnamdi Kanu,
Yes.
and Simon Ekpa. I have truths. We all know that these unknown gunmen are not unknown gunmen. They are members of IPOB and ESN. These are, criminals, or these are terrorists that have been unleashed on the Nigerian states by this
Now,
terrorist
Simon,
group.
if you say, I beg your pardon, Nelson, if you say categorically that they are members, I would like for you to listen, Nelson. If you say categorically that they are members of IPOB, do you have proof to that? If IPOB is coming out to say, we don't know those people, and they are being tagged unknown, do you have proof to the fact that they are members of IPOB?
Moses, IPOB has been proscribed by the Nigerian law. IPOB, as we speak, is a terrorist group. And information has always surfaced on the internet where these people have come out making, demands, vowing that they would rather set this country on fire. They've done it repeatedly since 2015 when PDP lost power at the center And these are facts that we have even discussed on your station. So please don't try to be a sympathizer in this case.
No, I'm not being a sympathizer. We are looking for facts here.
Authoritatively that this unknown gunman was the coinage of the Nigerian media by a section of the media that wanted to be clever by half. We also saw we almost saw a replica in the southwest there, where I come from, when a Sunday Igboho wanted to play the role of a Nnamdi Kanu in the southwest. But we Southwesterners, we came out and said, no way. Sunday Igboho that cannot write that cannot write the full word of a Sunday, that doesn't even know the spelling of Sunday, will come and lead me. There's a Yoruba man with my education, with my sophistication, Aba. We said no way.
All right, Nelson, but the same thing too has transpired with a couple of Southeast elders. They have actually pleaded with the federal government to do something about this as soon as possible. In fact, there have been clamors with the Finnish government to repatriate Simon Ekpa. There are evidences of the tweets that he has put out there and the kind of statements he has put out there, literally indicting him to cause chaos in the Southeast. Why do you think the government has delayed in repatriating him back to the country to answer to the crimes?
Well, the Nigerian law, it does not have jurisdiction over the laws in Finland, where Simon Ekpa is. And if you are going to, seek the repatriation of Simon Ekpa, you must put the facts on the table. And those facts have to be interrogated by the process, by the laws in Finland. You cannot just sit down here and say, oh, they should repatriate Simon Ekpa. That's not how the law works, with facts and evidence.
There are evidences. There are evidences with some broadcasts that Simon Ekpa has made. There are evidences with the tweets that he had tweeted, or especially now called X. In fact, immediately this situation occurred yesterday, he wrote on his X account that next time let him see anybody who would not obey the sit-at-home order. That tweet already indicts him by saying possibly he encouraged these unknown gunmen to exert that mayhem there. So what stops the government of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Finnish government, based on all of these broadcasts and tweets that he has done, to repatriate him like they did with Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, what I'm telling you is that the law works with facts. And I've told you, I'm a Nigerian. I only know about the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't know about the laws of the Republic or the Republic of Finland. Right. And I've told you that if you're seeking repatriation, it does not just work in a jiffy like that. Okay, let me give you an example, an instance. The Nigerian government, has tried to repatriate, the former indicted senator who is now Lled, Buruji Kashamu. You recognize how he went to the court of law and he was able to stall his repatriation to the US to answer for drug charges. So I wouldn't know. Maybe the Nigerian government has made that effort, and Simon Ekpa has gone to court in Finland, and the case is still in court until the court gives its judgment. There's even a recent one before us of the former police boss. I'm talking about Kiari now, who is supposed to have been repatriated to the US. But because the guy has gone to court, until the judicial process is fully exhausted, you can't do anything except if you want us to do.
Nelson, so now let's talk about what we know. Let's talk about what we know. Let's not let's move away from what we don't really know. Let's look at what we know. Now we know that Nnamdi Kanu, who puts himself as the leader of IPOB, all right, has said, look, I'm not for the sit at home. Sit at home initially was for whenever he was being taken to court, but then that was taken out of, that was taken overboard and has created chaos in the region. Now he has come out to say, look, let us turn Mondays into empowerment days. All right. Now, we saw the progress that was being made in that regard. Now, we also know that when Simon Ekpa has been purported to be working for somebody within the government. Now, who that person is, we don't know for sure. That is also what we know. We also do know that Asarido Kubo most recently made a statement that his men are the ones around the southeast. And if anybody If anybody, tries to do, show themselves in the southeast, they will treat them. They will treat them accordingly. That is another thing that we know. Nelson, please.
Hello?
I'm here. I can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly, Nelson.
What was the last statement you did? That somebody said these men are in the southeast. Please come again.
Oh, I did say. Were you not aware that Asarido Kubo made a statement very recently that his men are operating within the southeast, and they will curb whoever decides to take things overboard. I'm rephrasing his words now.
Well, I am not aware of Asari Dokubo's statement, but if he has made that statement, I'm sure the security agencies would have, investigated such statements to be able to determine its linkage with the Southeast. But you and I
Were you aware?
For free.
Were you aware of the statement? Sorry to interrupt you. I do apologize. Were you aware of the statement that he made on YouTube where he brandished guns and said he was going to, he made some really terrible statements that he was going to deal with Southeasterners? Did you see that one? Were you aware of that?
I saw the video, but I didn't get to hear the audio of what he was saying in that video. I didn't get to hear it. I saw that video. But what I'm telling you is that if he has made such statements, it is within the purview of the security agencies to do the needful. But in this case, the problem in the Southeast is standards with this monster, and it has become a threat to their life and property, and that is why we always advise. There's this adage in my part of the world that when you are digging a hole for your enemy, that you should dig it and make sure it is not too deep. You know why? Because you don't know. Maybe the person that dug the hole, could be the person that will fall into that pit. And what we are saying here is that when Nnamdi Kanu and his gang of terrorists started their terrorism, the people in the Southeast stood out to welcome them. But look at it today. They are the ones bearing the brunt.
Okay. Nelson, let's have your final thoughts. Hello, Nelson.
In support of such a terrorist, for me as a Yoruba man, if any other Yoruba man tries that here where I come from, he will receive his reply, verbally from people like us.
Nelson,
and that was exactly
should we consider
Sunday
this? Should we consider this your final thoughts? Because time is our time for the program is fast running out. Is this your final thoughts on the issues discussed so far, or can you do that in another 1 minute?
Come again, please. Come again.
Should we consider this your final thoughts on this issue, or do you want to just give out your final thoughts in about a minute?
My final thoughts on the issue are very clear. To resolve the issue of insecurity in the Southeast, the solution lies in the hands of every Southeasterner. They know these terrorists, they know these criminals, but they are the ones harboring them. The security agencies can only do their best. They are human beings. They are not spirits and they are not angels. For them to know, the people must be ready to push out these criminals so that they have peace.
All right.
So the resolution to this crisis lies in the hands of people in the Southeast. That is my final thought.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Nelson Ekujimi, public affairs commentator. Cyril Abaku, your final thoughts, please.
The Bible says that you will know the truth, and the truth alone shall set you free. If we don't know the truth about insecurity in the Southeast, it means freedom will remain very far away. The reality is that what is happening in the Southeast is beyond IPOB, is beyond the ESN. I personally believe that when you sum the evidence up together, somebody is clearly sitting down on a drawing board, planning and exporting this violence into the Southeast. And the reality is that until we are willing to confront the truth, regardless of whether I want to call it IPOB or not, until we are willing to face that truth. For example, what has the federal government exactly done? How about going to Finland and saying, can we, on account of this particular man's misbehavior, enter into an extradition treaty with you, expedite the papers, sign it so that we can take him to bring him to Nigeria and let him face charges?
Does the FG have that power?
No, it's bilateral. You can.
Does it have the power?
Approach the Finnish government and say, Finland, because of what this young man is doing, we want to enter into. They can, but they've not even started the process. How did they bring in the Kanu to Nigeria?
Exactly.
They didn't even bother to enter into treaty. It was extraordinary rendition, and that's why they are not able to win any case in court. So even when the court says free him, they keep him there. If you can keep somebody against the law,
why can't you use the law to bring in?
So this is the thing. I say it again, that what's happening in the Southeast is very artificial. It is very inorganic. And for those who are willing to sit back and say they have profit to make from insecurity, they're having a field day. But we must face the truth. It's not an IPOB issue. It's not even ESN. I believe that somebody somewhere is sitting down to smile and be happy as far as sees this violence happening in the Southeast. Out of nowhere, this happened. Out of nowhere, this happened. When the security, when the intelligence services, good. When this has fed almost 18 intelligence reports saying that the prison in a way was about to be attacked. Who did anything? Nobody did until the prison was broken.
You were supposed to do
the one that happened in Abuja for the 4 intelligence reports. What happened? Nothing happened. So let's face the truth.
All right then.
About what's going on in the South and not play around the.
Thank you very much, Cyril Abaku. Thanks for staying with us on the program. And big thanks again, Nelson and Kujimi. Well, time for us to go into business very, very quickly. Going into business now. The World Bank has noted that the coup d'etat in Niger may put additional pressure on Nigeria and other West African nations' food markets. According to the Global Bank, the Nigerian coup d'etat puts an additional 7 million people at risk of falling into severe food insecurity in the region against the backdrop of soaring commodity and staple food prices and severe food insecurity already affecting 3.3 million people during the lean season. The bank stated this in its September food security update. While describing the implication of economic and financial sanctions, the Economic Community of West African States and the West African Economic and Monetary Union imposed on the country, the Washington-based bank stated that food prices increased by up to 21% in August in Niger. It noted that this limited poor households' access to food and their ability to meet their dietary needs. All right. So away from that business story to another one, we have Nigeria witnessed another round of widespread blackout across the country yesterday, Tuesday, as a national grid. The national power grid collapsed again, making it the third grid collapse in about 5 days. Now, power generation on the grid crashed from a peak of 3,594.60 megawatts at midnight to 42.7 megawatts by midday of Tuesday. It was observed that at noon, only the Delta power plant was operational on the grid, contributing 41 megawatts, while AFAM generated 1.7 megawatts. On Friday last week, it was reported that the federal government had explained that the nationwide blackout witnessed the preceding day, being Thursday, was due to a fire incident and an explosion on the Kanji-Jeba 330 kV line 2. Power consumers, however, kicked against the never-ending excuses of the government as regards power generation and supply in Nigeria, despite privatizing the generation and distribution arms of the sector since November 2013. All right, so that's what we have for business. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll delve into entertainment and sports.